What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, June 16th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. What an exciting Tuesday we had with the return of the legend Lodels Loshak. And in MLB, man, he got rolling right away. Again, he went 3-1 with his official bets, but got to keep an eye out for his leans. His leans were monsters, and the Rockies full game at a huge price cash for him. Very, very exciting to have Peter joining us every Tuesday here on Pub Sports Radio. And, you know, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for that man. I owe him so much. So it's so exciting to have him back in business where he belongs, capping cards with the low baggers. Also, huge news in NBA right now. As you guys probably already know, Kawhi Leonard out with a knee injury, and just released 45 minutes ago, Chris Paul out indefinitely due to COVID. Good thing they're on a break right now. Who knows what that means? Information is going to be coming out throughout the day, but huge news in NBA. God, NBA is so much fun to cap. It's just a wild, wild soap opera. Next, we have to give a big happy birthday to DJ Big Boss, a man I love dearly, a huge part of everything that we do in Low Bag Nation, a part of all of our trips. And I just love the guy. He just makes it so much fun to cap sports. So a huge happy birthday to DJ Big Boss, whom we got to get on the show more. I miss him dearly. So that's what's up. I had a disappointing day yesterday. 2 wins, 3 losses, down 1.3 units in MLB. Lost 2 games by a half run and angered me. And then NHL, 3 goals in the third period, did not cash my lone bet on the under 5 at plus 115. Disappointing. The playoffs have just really got me in NHL. It sucks. But I've made 5 bets in MLB, 3 in NBA, and I can't wait to get back to work with you guys right now. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got Bleds W says, shout out Loshak for that Colorado big plus money pick. Wasn't that fantastic? Fat win coming to us live from Australia. Says French Racing St. Cloud race 7-6 Augier d'Argent at odds of 5-1. Betting win and place races in 50 minutes. Fat wins all the time. He comes on the show. He gives us these bangers in horse tracks around the world. And right now, Fat win focusing on French Racing St. Cloud race 76. Keep an eye out for that. And best bet today, Baltimore versus Cleveland first 5 under 4.5 at odds of at $1.90. So minus 110. I like that a lot, and I like Keegan Aiken. But I've made 5 bets in baseball, and I have not attacked that game at this point, and we'll go through them all. Brian Watson ready to get to work. Raymond Reddington said TAINT play to bounce back today. 6 straight winners from TAINT play today, and the winning streak stopped. But God, is he an incredible capper. So 6 straight winners, and the winning streak ended last night. But, man, and I was on it too. And he actually pushed his bet because he got 5 at BetMGM. And I lost that bet too. I cashed the full game under 9, and the full game under 8.5 cashed easily. It was just a tough luck. Bob Berube in the house. Great to see you. And there he is. Speak of the legend, says Bleds. I know I bet didn't have the balls to make it a damn official pick, but man, God. Oh, there he is right there. Peter Loshak in the chat. Wow. It's so dope. We can't wait for next Tuesday to get Lodels Loshak back in business. All the guys ready to get to work. Maxwell Smart says Jose Altuve Grand Slam walk-off. Yeah, he's rolling. The whole Astros team is rolling. There is North Ender says, will playoff P step up for the claw? Generally in regular season, I would say, well, I assume playoff P will step up in a big way. But in the regular season, I would say, look at this first game. Without their star, they're going to step up. But after winning 2 games, after beating up the Utah Jazz twice in LA in a 2-2 series in Game 5 playoffs, you think the Jazz are going to not take this as seriously as they should without Kawhi lineup? So I doubled up on the Jazz. And maybe it's a square play, but I first half full game did I Spenny Pennybomb says Royal Ascot is upon us. We'll be looking forward to seeing your action. Spenny Pennybomb says, but Vegas going to smack Montreal in the mouth again tonight. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think the Habs are going to answer back. We'll see what happens when they get up to Montreal, but they're in tough. The Vegas, very, very good team. Serious Business, Nutflush, Allen, Platinum, Paul, Matty, Ice, and Wild Pitch got the taint last night. Back at it again. Yeah, it was very, very unfortunate. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Brandon Cummings, Raymond Reddington, Nasty Nate says, my taint is sore. Look, your taint was... what am I going to say? What positive things am I going to say about taint? Hey, let me just say the taint won 6 straight. Let me just leave it at that. Taint won 6 straight. All right. Taint won 6 straight. There's Tyrone Coleman ready to go. Paco Healy. This is the hat that my man Paco Healy sent me from San Diego. Much love to you, Paco Healy. Poker Addicted, my man Piker says all key NBA superstars will be injured, sick, or otherwise disqualified immediately. That is all. All right. It's time to get to work. Time to get to work. Nate says, I'm going to be in Brooklyn Sunday night. I will DM see if you are around. God, it's nice having the Lodals Loshak. The legend Lodals back in business. There's Nilo ready to go. Jeff says, great to see you yesterday, Pete. Yeah, it's very, very exciting to have him back in business like this. Is a very, 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 very exciting every Tuesday here. And look, if Pete wants more, obviously, the low baggers do. And there he is right there. They cashed all these years. Still have no balls. Big dog official picks. It was a spectacular bet, regardless. Spectacular bet. Polo this, polo that now. Utah futures. I feel, I was telling my girlfriend this morning, I feel bad for the people with Clippers futures. And I didn't make them because of last season's embarrassment. But when the Lakers got eliminated, I was like, "Oh God, is this the right time for the Clippers?" And I didn't make a bet. And then they're down 2-0 to the Jazz, and I'm like, "Okay, it's good." And then when they dominated them for 2 games, I was like, "Oh God, those Clippers futures got to be looking good." There's Hustle Wilson ready to go. Okay, we got lots of work to do. Angels killed your parlay. Yeah, I was not on the Angels game yesterday. To review my action here very quickly from yesterday, because we got a lot of work to do on this card. Yesterday, I had Detroit, Kansas City under 9 cash, Blue Jays first 5 cash, Reds first 5 push, Detroit, KC first 5 under 4.5, lost. That hurt. Philly, Dodgers over 8.5, lost, and Miami, St. Louis first 5 over 4, lost. And remember, Lodals Loshak was like, I'm very nervous for you on those 2 picks. And Von Polo was on the Rockies. I remember that, Von Polo. I remember you saying that. Oh, yeah. I love that. Von Polo, you're so sharp, man. Patrick People says Giants first 5 in full game. Giants have the highest first 5 win rate. D-backs have second lowest first 5 win rate. Sprinkled Disclafani is 6th best first 5 pitcher, and we have a match in heaven. Patrick Peoples, I don't think it's that cut and dry. And for me, you guys know that I think that there's an opportunity to get Merrill Kelly at a really nice number these days. And I think he's a better pitcher than his numbers indicate. Now, in saying that, I'm not going to get in the way of the Giants and Disclafani, but I came very close. I looked very closely at Merrill Kelly first 5. So I don't think it's a cut and dry, Patrick, but I will be cheering for you heavy. Raymond Reichard, 8-0 this week right now. Joseph Gomez, Clippers +7 now with Kawhi out. Might be out next game. Jump on Utah to win series before it gets crazy. There's Slatsy. Slatsy was too easy. It was too easy. When I was watching this game, I was like, why am I not on the Lightning -1? We talked about it so much. Why am I not on it? All right, I'm way behind here in the chat, so we got to get right to work. G saying Kawhi out for the series. That hurts. DC, Washington, full game, and Houston, full game. Love over to DJ Big Boss. Okay. And there he is. Don't ask, don't tell. Bangers, taints, cupcakes. Oh my, what a guy. Don't ask, don't tell. Thank you so much for your support, your consistent support. It means so much to us, and very, very, very thankful. There's Kevin Riley ready to go. What a great, great group. Pete's still going on. Oh, what a great, great group. Very, very, very thankful. And Slot says, imagine the odds of Taint playing 30K prop both not hitting big bounce back today. Yes, I believe that. There's Dennis Trusty. Says, went 5-0 in the NBA last night. I had a boy, Trusty. And by the way, Trusty can be seen live tonight on our big thoroughbred horse racing show at 7:30 or 7 p.m. I'm not entirely sure if it's 7 p.m. or 7:30. That my fault on that. But tonight, thoroughbred horse racing with razor sharp picks in the house. All right. And Lance Rose says, will be fun to get on when they get some pitching. Well, that will be next year. Okay, let's get to work. Shout out to everybody joining us. Apologies if I missed your comment, as I want to give you guys as much love as possible. It means the world that you're with us. And the most important thing here is the work. We work together to defeat the juice. And Nutflush Allen says, Pete, the entire Nutflush family says, I love you. Let's get to work. We have afternoon baseball, beautiful afternoon baseball. We start at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. Miami Marlins, I'm on them first 5 at -130. I thought about moving on a total, but I was too late. To the party. Let's move over to MLB right now. MLB, imagine Lodell's Loshak coming in with that was close to like a plus 300 banger with the Rockies last night. Amazing. So it's Oviedo against Alcantara. I used to think Sandy Alcantara was had a huge dichotomy between his home and road splits. That has not been a factor this year. The full game has gone from 8 to 7.5, and the Marlins have gone from -108 to -115 at Pinnacle, a 7-cent move there. And in the first 5 arena, we've been seeing -130s. Now we see -135s, and the first -140 is on the board. This total has gone from 4.5. It went down to 4. I thought about it. It is now down to 3.5 at Pinnacle. Wow. You don't see a first 5 move a full run very often. There's Nate Dogg, Leroy Flood, Dav Fenn, Christopher Carter. Christopher Carter says, careful with the New York Mets game. DeGrom is dealing, but they are all about his health now. We'll pull him real damn quick. There's Razor Sharp Picks. He is a gambler's first glance. Cardinals money line plus 103 versus Miami. Look at Razor going up against the market move, backing Oviedo. Very, very exciting. Check that out here every day. Check it out here. Gambler's first glance starring Razor Sharp Picks on Pub Sports Radio. Okay, so and I don't want Marlins full game. I want Marlins first 5. And this isn't a fade of Johan Oviedo either. Let's go. Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri, 83 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour in. Alcantara, 4-5, 3.39 ERA, 1.08 whip, 85 innings, 80 Ks, 24 walks, and 8 home runs allowed. In his last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a 4-3 win at home versus the Braves. I was impressed with this start. The Braves smash, and they've seen Alcantara over and over and over again over the last few years, and I was impressed with the start. Johan Oviedo, 0-2, 5.72 ERA, 1.52 whip, 28 in the third, 25 Ks, 18 walks, 5 home runs. In his last start, it was Friday, and I lost on the under. I expected him to pitch better at the Cubs. 4 in the third, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Cubs are hitting hard right now. Marlins versus righties, just 235, 675 OPS. Cardinals are worse, 224, 670 OPS versus righties. Marlins bullpen 3.84 ERA, 1.20 whip, converted 13 of 29 save opportunities. Cardinals bullpen 4.33 ERA, 1.40 whip, converted 21 of 27 save opportunities. I see Brian. Okay, Taint is in. Okay, let's stop everything right now. We're going to get back into this Marlins Cards game, but the Taint is in. So let's pop it up on the board very quickly. Why can't I find it now? There it is. Thank you, Jose, on the 1s and 2s. By the way, Jose's now hit 5 straight. Say hey, play of days. 5 straight from our man, Jose. There it is. New York, Chicago, full game under 6.5, a -110 is the Taint play of the day. Pop that up here right now on the... Here we go. That's at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Taint under 6.5. Taint under 6.5. And I did study up on Robert Stock, who is going to be facing DeGrom here. Simcella Cock. What's happening? What's happening? What up? Okay, so let's quickly get through this game here, of which I'm on the Marlins first 5 and Gamblers first glance. We have razor sharp picks on the other side, full game. Batter versus pitcher here. Alcantara just impresses me. They're hitting 167 with a 424 OPS against them, 5 for 30. Those 5 hits, all singles. Impressive. And look, these Marlins haven't seen Oviedo. So that's a nice opportunity for Oviedo. Sharpie says Alcantara has a 4+ ERA on the road, 2.38 at home with a 1.29 ERA in day games. That's great stuff. Also, though, Sharpie, do take a look at Alcantara's last few road starts. I've been quite impressed with them. And TJ says, respect the taint. And says, caution, DeGrom is not going over 75 pitches today. They're going to protect him. Love the value on the Cubbies here. Very, very interesting. Piker, our man Piker, whom we love dearly, says, OG low bagger, poker addicted, says, Alcantara ground ball guy, Oviedo line drive to the bleachers kind of guy. I'll ride with you on the first 5 unders, cashed around 90% last 10 games for both under consideration as well. I should have, could have. I agree. And I almost moved on it at 4, but I didn't want to take the half run move, and now it's gone down to 3.5. So I absolutely get it. Okay, so let's just quickly see if there's any money moves to look at here because it's an afternoon start. Here we go, live odds. Here we have 4,779 tickets in. On the money line, 72% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the Miami Marlins. We see the market moving in their direction. For the total, we see 57% of the tickets, 63% of the cash on the under, and the market moving in that direction. All makes sense here, and I'm pretty comfortable with my spot. Soupy panties. Soupy panties in the house is on Alcantara over 5.5 Ks. I like that. Joseph Gomez says, like unders on morning games. Absolutely. Joseph Gomez says, no respect for Alcantara. Not for me. I have respect for Alcantara. I like him. Thank you, Jimmy Gomez. We have so many OGs. Mally Mal here. I just absolutely love it. All right, there you go. 1:15 p.m. Eastern. Our first game on the docket. I'm on the Miami Marlins first 5. I had to pay price for it. -130. I did not take it on the first 5 -0.5. I'm paying the price. I pay the cost. Be the boss. And shout out to DJ Big Boss on his birthday today. 2:10 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Cincinnati Reds 34-31, 18-15 on the road. At the Milwaukee Brewers 38-29, 20-17 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have Peralta going up against Molly. And you know how much I love Peralta. And I have not backed him. Let's see if that changes once we break this down. This total sitting at 4. The first 5 was just too expensive. I felt it was too expensive. It's now between -140 and -150, depending on where you shop. If we go to full game here, full game, we're sitting at an 8. It opened under 8, -112. Pinnacles moved it to 7.5. Interesting. The Brewers opened up at -141. They're now at -142. YouTube, everything says Milwaukee covers the run line. And our cupcake spot from Maxwell Smart. If the cupcake plays of the day, you keep dropping them here on the show. I know you do them on your Twitter, but you keep dropping them on the show. We may need to create an intro for Maxwell Smart. Castellanos, 5 for 7 versus Peralta, 348 versus right-handed pitching, 357 last 7 days, 367 versus Milwaukee. Bob Taylor likes Reds first 5. Carlos Luder's first inning under a half run. And Eric Jones is moving on that Cubbies spot. Dan Kelly says, I was just watching live from the U.S. Open on the Golf Channel. They had the camera on Brooks Koepka. Coming off the range, he gets to the stairs, struggles getting up them. I just faded him. Makes sense. There's Elliot V in the house. I'm the opposite, Joe Chris. Not only did I move on the Tigers first 5, but I like Skubal. Don't look at his early year numbers. He was the Detroit Tigers minor league pitcher of the year in 2019. His strikeout, he's enormous. Now, I can't say strikeout to walk ratio because he still walks so many batters, but so I look, I'm a Skubal guy, and I think we're getting enormous value on Skubal because of his terrible start. And the fact that he just went 2 straight games against a divisional rival like the White Sox who smashed lefties and he got through them okay is a sign that he's definitely bet on, in my humble opinion. Okay, let's go. 71 Fahrenheit, clear, 8 miles per hour in. Molly, 6-2, 3.56 ERA, 1.11 whip, 68 1/3, 78 Ks, 21 walks, 8 home runs. His last start wasn't very good. He went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and 11-5 win at home over the Rockies. Peralta had the rain-shortened start last out, so I expect him to be quite fresh. He's been excellent this year, 2.25 ERA, 6-1, 0.88 whip, 98 Ks in 68 innings, 29 walks, maybe too many walks, but still very impressive. Last start, he allowed 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 2 walks, 6 Ks in 4 innings, and a 7-2 loss at the Reds, but we cashed that first 5 under quite easily. But Joe, Chris, I'm on the Tigers' first 5. I still am concerned with their bullpen, so I'm only on them first 5. Reds hit righties very hard, 256, 774 OPS. Brewers just 208, 653 OPS. No team in Major League Baseball is worse against righties than the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's amazing that they're sitting at 38-29 with that terrible numbers against righties. Reds bullpen 5.59 ERA, 1.43 whip, converted 15 of 24. The Brewers bullpen is improving, 4.23 ERA, 1.32 whip, converted 20 of 31. All right, let's move on to baseball data and see what we are dealing with. Molly, 333, 1.012 OPS, very tiny sample size. They're 4 for 12 against them, 3 singles and a homer. Peralta, 67 at-bats against them. They're hitting 254, but with an 858 OPS. Votto's gone deep, Barnhart has gone deep, and Winker has gone deep against them. Castellanos, as we already heard from Maxwell Smart for the cupcake play today, is 5 for 7 with 4 doubles. 4 doubles. Attaboy, Kev. I love seeing that. Keep it going. Jacksonville Zoe, good start with my day with the Russia win in the Euros. Attaboy. And Sharpie says, we think and believe Peralta is an ace. Aces bounced back, and he just had a bad game for his power versus Reds 5 days ago. I don't think it was a bad game. I was watching it very closely. 6 Ks in 4 innings. He allowed 1 run, 2 hits. I was impressed with it. There's Bouquett in the house. Great to see you. I think so, Piker. I think it's a good spot. I'm also on that first 5 under 5 because I'm not against Brady Singer, but we'll get into that game next. So I think Peralta is dangerous. I think he's a good pitcher, but you're going to have to take the -0.5 to get the juice down. And look, the Brewers just don't hit righties. There's Turnsey, great to see you. Patrick People says Molly's second most profitable pitcher, first 5, and he's been doing better lately. Not sure if there's any angle there. There's enough of an angle, Patrick, to keep me off of betting Peralta. Look, he's just too big of a favorite in my estimation. And yes, I expect him to bounce back. And maybe that first 5 under should have been bet already. It was not bet by me. First 5 sitting at 4. Could these guys just allow 3 runs? I think it's pretty tight. I think it's just a pretty tight line right now. And there's Dutch Boy Fresh joining us. Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Great call on KD yesterday, Dutchy. Piker says the line values with the Reds. Brewers can win the side. Doesn't mean you were on the right side. Generally, you want plus money in a perceivably 50-50 spot. Perfectly put. Absolutely perfectly put. Poker addicted, a.k.a. Piker. We move on. I'm not moving on Reds Brewers. 2:10 p.m. Eastern, I've doubled up on this spot. I took the Tigers first 5 at plus 120, and I took Detroit KC first 5 under 5 at minus 125. I had to pay the juice associated. It was moving to 4.5 at 2 or 3 books, and I figured it would move to 4.5 at mine, and I had to pay the cost there. Let's just see what it is right now. Wow. Now it's at minus 120. Did not need to rush into it. Upsetting. Okay. Tigers 28-39, 13-20 on the road. At the Kansas City Royals, 30-36, 16-17 at home. We're at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Sorry, I had to check something out there very quickly. 89 Fahrenheit, clear 8 miles per hour, sideways out to left. Tariq Skubal, 3-7, 4.35 ERA, 1.47 whip. We've been watching those numbers drop. 74 Ks in 60 innings, still walking too many batters, 29 walks in the 60 innings, 14 home runs allowed. A lot of them were earlier in the year. I think he's been much, much better. In his last start, it was the second time in a row seeing the team that hits lefties harder than any other team in MLB over the season. I know that we've talked about the White Sox are not the juggernaut against lefties that we remember them to be. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 home run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. I was impressed. I'm impressed by Treek Skubal. I think he's going to be a mainstay in this Tigers rotation moving forward. TJ says Tigers first 5 is on my card. Skubal is the real deal at plus money versus KC. Yes, please. I agree. Bob Taylor says, are you on the over or under first 5 in the Detroit game? I'm on the under first 5, under 5, because I also think that Brady Singer is a good pitcher who will be a mainstay of the Kansas City Royals rotation. These are 2 young pitchers, and they've dealt with their fair share of bumps on this road, but I trust Brady Singer. 3-5, 4.85 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, 69 Ks in 65 innings, 24 walks, just 5 home runs allowed in those 65 innings. In his last start, it was at Oakland. Oakland's been hitting everything lately. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 7 Ks, and a 4-3 loss. The Tigers hitting 228, 683 OPS versus righties, poor. The Royals versus lefties, poor at 250, 700 OPS. Tigers bullpen, 5.13 ERA, 1.52 WHIP. I don't think they're atrocious, but I don't want anything to do with them with Fulmer out. The Royals bullpen at 4.03 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, converted 14 of 22 save opportunities. Piker says beware unders in 90-degree temps, as will be the case at Kauffman today. Yes, there is a lot of warm weather. There is a lot of warm weather, and that's why it opens at 5. You know, it opens at 5 because you look at that weather and these 2 youngsters on the mound, you think there's going to be offense. So I think you're absolutely right now in the hot summertime to be wary of unders. Let's go to baseball data here. We have Skubal, 229, 785 OPS against them. They're 8 for 35, and he's allowed 3 home runs. Look, he's got an issue with the long ball, something he's got to deal with. Against Brady Singer, they're hitting 218 with just a 622 OPS. They're 19 for 87. 19 for 87 against them. I like it. I like it. Bleds W says Royals team total over. I can understand that from a full game perspective. And Kev Riley says Chicago White Sox cashed me yesterday, first 5 in full game, 3-0. And Tigers cash, great job. Williams Fun Video says leaving Tigers versus Royals game alone. Both teams stink are unpredictable. I get that as well. Let's just see where the money is for this spot. Also, for that Brewers red spot, we have 68% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on the Brewers. And look at this, 51% of the tickets on the over, 95% of the cash on the over. Ooh-wee. With this spot here, we have 66% of the tickets on the Royals, 63% of the cash, and it's a 50-50 on the total. 46% of the tickets on the under, 50% of the cash. All right. Turnsy said, how did Pete do for his record his first day back? Well, it was great. He went 4-3 over all 3 sports, 3-1 in MLB, 1-1 in NBA, 0-1 in NHL. It was a winning day. If you have 4 and 3 days every single day, you can buy a house, you can pay mortgages, you can pay car payments on your gambling. But again, and it's so important that all Pete and I want for the guys that run with us, we just want to improve your lives. That's what, I mean, of course, that's a huge thing, but that's our dream, to make you guys just for things to get better, capping life, everything. And often it's our leans and the information that you can take from us that will guide you to the cash. And Pete said that, you know, it's his second tier and third tier bets that have the highest ROI. And, you know, he was money, absolute money on his leans yesterday. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on here. So this Tigers spot, I'm on Tigers first 5 at plus 120. I think Poker Addicted said it perfectly. This is probably a 50-50 spot, and I'm getting plus 120. I'll take that every day of the week. And I like these 2 young pitchers. And Turnsy says, Jimmy, your presence on my screen makes my life better. My God, Turnsy, as soon as I can get down to Windsor, soon as Caesars opens, you know I'm there. Maxie will be with me. Nilo will be with me. All right, we move on to the Tampa Bay Rays at Chicago White Sox, 2:10 p.m. Eastern. This is a tricky one that I've stayed off of. Tampa Bay Rays, 43-25, 24-11 on the road. At Chicago White Sox, 42-25, 26-12 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. 73 Fahrenheit clear, 10 miles per hour sideways. Let's bring up the market moves here in another beauty afternoon spot for us to make cash, but I found this one difficult. The first 5 total is at 4. It was initially juiced to the under. It's now slightly juiced to the over. You have Giolito and the White Sox between minus 135 and minus 145 on the first 5 line. When you go to full game, here we go. We have the White Sox opening up at minus 128. They're now at minus 137. So we have a 9-cent move towards them. Also, Pinnacle, the industry leader in market moves, has moved the total to 8. Every other book sitting at 7.5. You can imagine that many books will follow that lead. Why, I love that. TJ says, interested in the money on this one, Jimmy. Well, let's go right there before we break everything down then, so you can use that to your advantage. With this Rays spot, we have 61% of the money line tickets on the White Sox and 83% of the cash, and a 9-cent move. We have 54% of the tickets on the under and just 42% of the cash on that under. King Dre says probably taking Rays plus 1.5. And King Dre, one of my rules is not to turn dogs into favorites. That's one of my rules. But if you are expecting a low-scoring game and you track your action and you have high ROI doing that, then you trust yourself and roll with it. Ryan Yarbrough is pitching very good of late. 4-3, 3.63 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 72 innings, 59 Ks, 12 walks, 11 home runs on the season. Last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, none earned. Did allow a home run. 0 walks, 6 Ks, and a 4-2 win at home versus the Orioles. Giolito has not looked good this year, but still has good number. You know, I should take that back. Giolito pitched to such a high level last year that maybe we've skewed the way we look at him. 5-5, 3.81 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, 75 2/3, 96 Ks, 25 walks, 15 home runs. A gas station says, Jim, I'm going to take a break in betting baseball until the dust settles on this foreign substance investigation is completed. The results can be dramatic and seems unhandicappable. Wow, that is interesting, gas. So, we talk about how we work together to defeat the juice, and we are a team here. And Gas Station Sushi is one of the very few North Americans who makes his living, raises a family as a sports gambler. And I repeat, he says, I'm going to take a break in betting baseball until the dust settles on this foreign substance investigation. The results can be dramatic and seem unhandicappable. Wow. Ooh-wee. There's Robert Cherry in the house, and don't ask, don't tell. What a guy you are. Thank you so much for your continued support of us. It means so much, man. Thank you. Don't ask, don't tell. All right, Giolito, last start, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 home runs, 2 solo shots, 1 walk, 9 Ks in a 5-4 extra inning win at the Tigers. Rays are hitting 238, 738 OPS versus righties. And in a year where the majority of the league is smashing lefties and not righties, those numbers are pretty impressive for the Rays against righties in comparison to the rest of the league. Then we have the White Sox. 275, 810 OPS. Red Girl on Marlins first 5. I'm with that. I'm on that. Tampa Bay money line, Boston money line, and Utah half. I like it. Red Girl. Viper says, I think it's a great time to get some underdog money with all the good pitchers about to be struggling, laying a huge number. And Nate Dogg says, Gas with the wisdom. And Lance Rose says, Gas, you are such a pro. He is. He is a pro. And there's very few of them in North America. Piker says, White Sox versus lefties is a thing. It's a thing. It's also a thing that White Sox haven't scored more than a run versus Yarbrough ever. Okay. Let's break this down. We have 2 great bullpens in effect. White Sox bullpen and Rays bullpen have been lights out of late. Both moving in the right direction. They are both top 3, other than with the Cubs. They got to be, I don't have that in front of me, but top 5 for sure bullpens over the last while. White Sox 3.53 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. Rays bullpen all the way down to a 3 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. And you have to think the Giants bullpen's being lights out until yesterday. Okay. So let's move over to the baseball data here. And just like Piker was saying, Yarbrough has been lights out against these White Sox. They're hitting just 174 with a 414 OPS. Now that's just 23 at bat, so the sample size is small. 4 for 23 with just 4 singles. Giolito, same deal. 214, 456 OPS. 6 for 28 with 6 singles against them. And yet, this total is going up. It's going up. Why is it moving to 8? Well, we have 57% of the cash on the over. So obviously some sharp bets came in on the over. And our guy Uncle Oliver saying, yes, the substance thing is serious. Piker considering the under first 5. Sanka on a parlay. Jazz, Giants, Padres, Mets, Indians, money line. Viper and B is on the under in this spot. And Piker says, I misread that. Tampa Bay hasn't scored more than runs versus Giolito. Yarbrough has only faced them once and shut them out. And Tyrone says, Jimmy, if I can still get Detroit first 5, under 5, at minus 115, is it a good bet? You know, should we be concerned that the market is moving, that I thought that these would be 4.5? I mean, I like the under 5 at minus 115. Why don't we just see exactly, very quickly, Tyrone, what bookmaker has done with the first 5, and then you can make a decision based on that. So here we go. We're going to move to here. We're going to move first 5 total. First 5 total at bookmaker. And yes, they've moved it once from under 5 at minus 103 to under 5 at minus 115. Yeah, look, I'm on it. I do not think there's going to be 6 runs in that game. I'm on it. Joe Chris says no run first inning in Rays White Sox game for sure. And Kyle Hintlian says parlay today, Giants over and Houston. Okay, so there's no move for me in this Rays White Sox spot. There's no move for me. I don't feel like I have enough of an edge. The Dirty K prop is in. I repeat, the Dirty K prop is in, and it's on the final game on the card here for MLB. So I'm going to pop that in right here. And that is also Jose's Say Hey Play of the Day game in the Dodgers Philly spot. And I've already moved on that game as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see it all come together. And there it is. There you go. Fap win cashes that 5-1 horse he gave us in France. I hope you guys tailed him. He comes on the show and he gives out winners. Fap win. What a guy. Shout out to our Fap win. I hope you guys rode with him. Okay, so let's move on from the Rays, White Sox, no action for me. Now we move to 3:10 p.m. Eastern. San Diego Padres, 38-31, 17-17 on the road at the Colorado Rockies, 27-41, 22-14 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, 101 Fahrenheit clear, 11 miles per hour in. There's my guy Mills in the house. Here we go. Blake Snell, 2-3, 4.97 ERA, 1.47 whip, 58 innings, 84 Ks, 35 walks, 8 home runs. In his last start, he went 4 innings. He allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 3-2 losses to the Mets. That was a huge bottom of the 5th for us in that game. Jose Seje play of the day cashed. The Taint play of the day cashed in that bottom of the 5th, and I was on both of those as well. Kyle Freeland is being awful. You wonder, though, is this one of the very few teams he might be able to manage? Padres are hitting just 221, 638 OPS versus lefties. They don't hit lefties at all. Freeland has thrown 17 innings. In those 17 innings, he's allowed 7 home runs. 7 home runs. 2.12 whip, 9 ERA. In his last start, he allowed 5 home runs in 4 innings at the Reds. Ooh. And Rockies smash lefties. 276, 776 OPS. Padres bullpen very good. 2.67 ERA, 1.12 whip. Rockies bullpen terrible. Terrible. All right. I like it. I like it. And we got looks from our Maxwell Smart Tatis over a half homer, over a half run, and over 1.5 bases. And Life of On Polo on the Rockies on the Coors Field fade. Coors Field fade. Those of you who are new with us, that was a play that we used to do every game in Coors Field. We would take the underdog on the reverse run line for huge, huge scores, and it worked. It worked. Why are we not on it anymore? It was because the second year it didn't work nearly as well as the first year. But this is probably a good year to use it because look at the Rockies are 22-14 at home, and they're going to be the dogs almost all the time. This is probably the perfect year for the Coors Field fade. All right. Yes, I'm already on it. Dutchie, my man, already on. I doubled up on the Jazz first half full game. Okay. We don't use his name, Brian Arpin, because he stole from a bunch of cappers. So we don't speak his name. All right. Christopher Gargaro in the house says, joining late, but looking back through the chat, see a lot on Scooball. Careful, spin rate decreased by Trevor Bauer-esque levels last start, and K's dropped from an average of 8 to 10 to 6. Other metrics worse too. Interesting, Christopher Gargaro. Now, I do think that part of the K dropping was that was the second time in a row he was seeing the White Sox in 5 days. But spin rate, very, very crucial. And Von Polo says it's working this year. This is the perfect year to use it. There's Danny Betts in the house. And Brian Arpin says, oh, I know. Yeah. Sorry, Brian. I won't say the man's name ever again. All right. Padres, Rockies. And we have Von Polo on the Coors Field fade. This total opened up at 11.5. It's now at 12. Snell and the Padres opened up at minus 166. They're now at minus 185. So a 19-cent move towards them. In the money markets, we have 26% of the tickets on the Rockies, 15%. Oh, sorry, that's right. Sorry, let me take that back. 15% of the money line tickets on the Rockies, 13% of the cash. 58% of the tickets on the under, 69% of the cash, and yet it's moved to 12. And it's moved to 12. Yeah, Ski. That's a sad part of the history, I guess, of the show, the fact that he was somebody that we, capped with, and he did that. Okay, let's move on. No move for me in Padres Rockies, but I'm sure when Sharpie heard that this total's gone from 11 after 12 and that there's that amount of money on the under, I'm sure that piqued his interest. So you want an under at Coors Field with 101 Fahrenheit and Kyle Freeland with a 9 ERA? Dangerous. I agree, Christopher Gargaro. I agree. Brian Watson says, don't trust Snell. Michael Irvin says, Padres cost me a 12-team dump parlay, 10 to win 12,683. Oh, God. Oh, Michael. Oh, I hate hearing that. Okay. Let's move on to 3:37 p.m. Eastern. We have the LA Angels, 33-34, 15-18 on the road at the Oakland A's, 42-27, 24-18 at home. We're at Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. 78 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour, out to right field. Griffin Canning going up against Cole Irvin. I was high on Cole Irvin in the beginning of the year. Won me a little bit of money. Then he cost me cash in back-to-back starts. And I watched the last one very closely, and I was like, look, he just seems so hittable. He's throwing 91 and 92 out there. And he's a big lefty. You expect a little bit more power from him. And the last 2 starts, he's been very good. What do I do with him now? There's Big Show picks in the house. Jessica Easton joining us. Thank you guys all. Platinum Paul says Phoenix Mercury -5. Do what you want with that info. Thank you, Platinum Paul. Sharpie says this is Snell's 3rd game versus Colorado, 2nd in Colorado, and he's done well every time. All right, let's talk about this Griffin Canning, Cole Irvin spot. Canning 5-4, 5.22 ERA, 1.44 WHIP, 50 innings, 56 Ks, 22 walks, and 11 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, and a 6-1 win at home versus the Royals. So both of these starters have had something to do with this Royals losing streak. They both beat them. And Griffin Canning looked good against them. Cole Irvin, 4-7, 3.70 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 75 in the third, 54 Ks, 12 walks, 8 home runs. Kyle Hintley and saying Rendon out. Good call. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes. Out. Rendon out. Cole Irvin, 4-7, 3.70 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 75 in the third, 54 Ks, 12 walks, 8 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 was earned. It was a solo shot. 4 Ks, and a 4-3 win at home over the Royals. The Angels hit lefties hard, 249, 759 OPS, and the A's are good against righties, 232, 725 OPS. Angels bullpen 4.69 ERA, 1.41 WHIP, converted 15 of 26 save opportunities. A's bullpen 4.02 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, have converted 19 of 26 save opportunities. And I'm waiting for this A's bullpen to be stronger because their back end is good. And I expect their numbers to improve as the season goes. TJ says Canning does this. He throws a couple of good ones and a couple bad, very inconsistent. Rendon isn't hitting anyway, so that doesn't not move my needle. Okay, let's see what the market has for us here. Cole Irvin opens up at minus 125. He's now minus 116. So a 9-cent move towards the Angels. This total opened up under 9 at minus 112, juice to the under. And now it's over 9 at minus 114. So we have a market move towards the over. Dennis Garcia in the house, hammering Royal Ascot as we speak. Keep an eye on Dennis whenever he hammers horses. He is extremely talented. 6 to win place at Ascot. He's always making moves on horses with big prices. Patrick Peebles says, as an A's fan, that was off yesterday's action due to Montas on the bump. I say A's lean tonight. Oakland bullpen 10-2, 3.03 ERA over the last 2 weeks. Yes, expected. Why? I don't know if they'll let that happen. Wyatt. I don't know if they'll let that happen. Okay, so let's move on to, oh, by the way, Kyle Freeland. I don't know what to make of some of these pitchers that are falling apart. They're batter versus pitcher, but he does have good numbers against these Padres. 247 average, 669 OPS. Okay, Canning, Cole Irvin. Canning, 222, 820 OPS against these A's. 14 for 63. 11 of those 14 hits are for extra bases. 6 doubles, 5 homers. Against Cole Irvin, 273 with a 727 OPS. This is tricky. And Trusty says at Ascot, I'm on win place on the 8 and 9. Oh, wow. And the 11, 14, and 19. I might withdraw the 14, don't like the odds I'm getting, but a lot of value on the 8 and 9. Okay. Wow. And 30 horses in the next race at Royal Ascot. Man, you think the Kentucky Derby's a mess. Holy shit. Spenny Pennybaum's going win place on 19. And look at that exacta for Spenny Pennybaum's right there. A 30-horse race. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get back to work here. Let's see where the cash is in the Angels game here. We have 73% of the tickets, so we're 4,085 tickets in, 73% of the money line tickets on the A's, and just 36% of the cash. Wow. And that makes sense, though. We've seen a 9-cent move over to the Angels, so, no reverse line movement there. 55% of the tickets on the under and 69% of the cash on the under. And we've seen it move towards the over. That is interesting. That is interesting. And it's warm on the West Coast right now. I guess I have a slight lean. I guess slight lean to the under. But I'm not moving on it. Not moving on it. Okay. Let's move on to 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 23-43, 10-24 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 29-35, 17-17 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. 75 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour, sideways in. For those of you that are joining us right now, I moved on the Marlins first 5 at minus 130, the Tigers first 5 at plus 120, and Detroit KC first 5 under 5 at minus 125. And I haven't added anything. There's 2 more bets I've made on the card as we move forward. Dutchie says, love your looks today on the hardwood bag. Let's eat. I'm excited, Dutchie. I'm excited. And those of you watching right now, we have the best NBA show in the business. Ski Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, Babano, and C-Mac every day, 4 p.m. Eastern, NBA Pub Hub every day, 7 days a week at 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's break this down. We have Chase DeYoung going up against Paolo Espino. This is a tricky spot with these 2 pitchers. We don't have a ton of sample size against them. Chase is 0-0, 4.80 ERA, 1.40 WHIP, 15 innings, 12 Ks, 7 walks, 3 home runs. In his last start, it was a 7-4 loss at the Brewers, and he looked good. It was adequate. It's a better term for it. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 2 Ks. So the walk-K ratio is poor. Then we have Paolo Espino, who has not been starting. So that means this is a bullpen day for these Washington Nationals. Very quickly, we have Uncle Oliver's Conch Salad Parlay, Yankees run line, Astros run line, Twins, Mariners, full game over 8, and the Giants run line. Pirates first righties, 232, 654 OPS, poor. Nats first righties, 238, 676 OPS, poor. And rumor has it that Scherzer is going to be dealt here in the next few weeks. So it looks like the Nats are letting the season go and building towards the future. Brian Arpin says Chris Paul COVID is crazy. It's nuts. We have a lot more information to gather from that, but we opened the show with that very interesting spot. Pirates bullpen, Nats bullpen, both very good. Pirates bullpen 3.88 ERA, 1.25 whip converted 8 of 12 save opportunities. Nats bullpen 3.87 ERA, 1.24 whip converted 13 of 20 save opportunities. And imagine getting Max Scherzer right now on your ball club. A little boost, I would say. So Espino's seen 3 of these batters. He's got them all out. I like it when the pitchers have not seen the opposition. I mean, it's a simple thing to say. Let's see where the cash is in this spot, and let's see what the market has done here. We have Washington going from minus 152 to minus 160, and Pinnacle's moved this to 9.5. So this total's gone from 9 to 9.5. So the Sharps not buying this fact that the pitchers haven't seen the opposition. We have 82% of the tickets on the Nats, 82% of the cash. Now, just 2,673 tickets in. So this is the smallest amount of tickets of any game other than the Minnesota-Seattle game. So let's not take too much into this because it's a small amount of tickets in. But we have 67% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on the under, and yet it's going up to 9.5. Stan Van Gundy fired, says Mills, but Luke Walton has a job as Kings coach. What a world it is. TJ says Pirates now 0-12-1 last 13, first 5 on the road. I will keep betting against them. So easy yesterday. Lay the money. Wow. This is interesting. 2 bullpens I trust. It's a bullpen day. It's just 75 Fahrenheit, clear 8 miles per hour Sunday. Uncle Oliver going up on thinking the Pirates stop this streak of losing first 5. Very, very interesting. All this money on the under, and Pinnacle's moving it to 9.5. Huh. Well, I am going to keep an eye out on if this goes up to 9.5 across the board. I like the way both bullpens are throwing right now. And 10 runs is a lot of runs for these two teams that just don't hit righties. So if this goes to 9.5 across the board, it may be an addition. All right, let's move on right now. And Max says Washington starters ERA last 11 games, 1.82. Yeah, I think this is very interesting reverse line movement. And I want to see this go up to 9.5. TJ says St. Louis now the favorite. What did I miss? The lineups must have come out. The lineups must have come out, and the Marlins must be missing key bats. Why don't we just check that out right now very quickly? We do want to spend a lot of time on basketball, but I imagine that the lineups came out, and it's a very ugly Marlins lineup. All right, here we go. Daily lineups very quickly, then we'll move on. Chisholm, Birdie, Sanchez, Alfaro, Diaz, Brinson, Sierra, Marrero. The lineups came out. That is a horrifying lineup. Now, as Cardinals have a very weak lineup too. Man, this would have been a nice time to that's probably the inclination that some of these sharps had on the under. No Arenado out there for the Cardinals either. Carlson, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Carpenter, Molina, Sosa, DeYoung, Rondon. Wow. All right, let's roll. Much love, Jeff Shahadi. Get that cash. And then Piker says it's opposed to what? That really great Marlins lineup? Okay, you're right. Okay, so if this moves to 9.5 across the board, I'm going to move on the under. Let's move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox, Atlanta Braves. Shout out to our very own Jose, star of the Say Hey play of the day that's now hit 5 straight winners. And also to Lodos Loshak. You guys nailed this game yesterday. Red Sox 41-27, 21-10 on the road at the Braves, 30-34, 17-18 at home. We're at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. 80. Oh, there's Tata Booker in the house. Great to see you, Tata Booker. Nice. Got Uncle Oliver, Tata Booker, the best capping couple in the industry. 83 Fahrenheit, clear, 9 miles per hour, out to straightaway center. Garrett Richards, 4-4, 4.09 ERA, 1.59 whip, 70 and a third, 61 Ks, 34 walks, 5 home runs. In Garrett's last start, he went 5 1/3, allowed 11 hits, 4 earned runs, 0 home runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and a 6-5 win at home versus the Jays. And we cashed very comfortably on the Jays in that first 5. Then we have Ian Anderson, 4-3, 3.26 ERA, 1.18 whip, 66 1/3, 69 Ks, 26 walks, 6 home runs. Red Girl says the Red Sox win. Ian Anderson coming off an excellent start. 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and a 4-3 extra inning loss at the Phillies. He's having a good year. 3.26 ERA, 1.18 whip, 66 1/3, 69 Ks, 26 walks, 6 home runs. Sean Glass says over all day. Red Sox smash righties, 254, 761 OPS. The Braves also smash righties, 233, 739 OPS. And remember that the numbers against righties across the board are way down this year. Red Sox bullpen, 3.79 ERA, 1.38 whip, 21 of 32. Braves bullpen being bad all year, 4.82 ERA, 1.40 whip, 13 of 24. And Wyatt Chapman proposing to Red Girl. Wyatt Chapman, you're not the first. We got to meet Red Girl in person. She is as beautiful and sharp, and she's everything you dream of in a partner. So you are not the first to propose, Wyatt. Okay, let's move on to 64 Fahrenheit. Oh shit! Sorry, I already did that. Sorry. Thinking of regular got me off. 83 Fahrenheit, clear, 9 miles per hour, out to straight away center. Okay, let's see where the market has gone in this Red Sox spot. Anderson opening up at -140, now -143, a 3-cent move towards the Braves. This total opened up at 9. It is now at 9.5. Let's see where the cash is. And Nasty Nate says, Red Girl's the GOAT. Says Nasty Nate. Red Sox, Braves. The cash here, we have 40% of the money line tickets on the Braves and 68% of the cash. And 65% of the tickets on the under and 62% of the cash on the under, and yet it's moved to 9.5. Mixed messages. There's Robert Allen in the house. Great to see you. MMA Locker Room says my Braves need to get Max Scherzer. And we have the Czar, 5 Czar lock. Sparks decimated by injuries, even though Diane Taurasi out, like the Phoenix Mercury, to cover -4, win by 10. It went up. I got it at 4. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, the Czar. I'm going to pop that in right now to this. The last time the Czar gave us the 5-star lock, it was on the Mystics. It was last week. He went first quarter, first half, full game. They all cashed very easily. Bleds W says, I don't know, Red Sox plus money for me. There's a lot of mixed messages here. I want to fade Richards every chance I get. So I agree with the move towards the Braves, but I don't want anything to do with the Braves bullpen. I find it interesting that they're moving towards that the market's moving up to 9.5, yet the money's coming in on the under is very, very interesting. And then we have, I looked at the first 5 already. I just deemed it too expensive. Let's go to batter versus pitcher and see what we are dealing with here. Against Garrett Richards, 262, 650 OPS. Wow, he's had the number of these guys. They're 11 for 42 against them. And then Anderson, 4 for 14 with 4 singles. I still think Garrett Richards is vulnerable. TJ says if that's your take, then it's an over. Much love, Czar. Thank you for stopping by and dropping that extremely important information on your look, the 5 Czar lock of the day. Thank you for stopping by and dropping that for us. Wow, Ian Anderson. I think Ian Anderson is a good bet here. I just don't trust Garrett Richards. I agree. Gas Station Sushi called him hot Chinese food garbage. That's what he called Garrett Richards. But you want the Braves? You have to take the Braves -0.5 first 5 if you want them. Let's just see what that cost would be for me right now. Braves first 5 -0.5. That would cost me -115. I like that. Jordan Arredondo says, hey, y'all, it's my birthday. What's y'all's most confident pick? Michael Irvelina said, Jimmy, just take the Braves team total like the same yesterday and don't have to worry what happens with either, but the Braves should get their runs. And MMA Locker Room says, under first 5, Braves versus Red Sox. Anderson solid. Yes, I think I'm going to move on the Braves. Northander says it's minus a half is juice too. It's minus 115. Huh. And Mike Macklem has Red Sox game running first. Jordan Arredondo, happy birthday, my friend. I'm going to pop this up here and go over it at the end of the show, what our best picks are. But I think that both the Sixers and Jazz first half is sort of what I'm leaning towards. I think I'm going to add this. I'm going to add the Braves first 5 minus a half. I don't care what Garrett Richards' numbers are against these guys. I find them very vulnerable right now. And Dutchie says you're trying to eat filet on your day, bro. Jazz early and often. I've doubled up too. I think this is a little different than what we see during the regular season. But we're going to get into that, and I can't wait till we do. Let's move on to 7:07 p.m. Eastern. New York Yankees 34-32, 17-16 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays 33-32, 13-14 at home in Salem Field in Buffalo, New York. 64 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour, sideways out to left. We have Garrett Cole going up against Ross Stripling, and Stripling has been much better of late. Much better, but his last start was not good. But I thought he was an auto fade, and he's been better. Garrett Cole, 7-3, 2.31 ERA, 0.87 whip, 81 2/3, 113 Ks, 11 walks, 8 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, solo shots, 9 Ks, and no walks in a 9-6 win at the Twins. Stripling, 4.91 ERA, 1.38 whip, 49 Ks and 47 2/3, 14 walks, 9 homers. In his last start, he went 5 2/3, allowed 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 6.5 losses at the Red Sox. Yankees aren't hitting righties hard, 229, 701 OPS, although those numbers are rising. Blue Jays versus righties, 264, 785 OPS. Nobody hits righties in the league like the Toronto Blue Jays. You'd think they might want to invest in pitching. It's clear that next year is the year for this ball club when we should all have future bets on them. Now, we don't move until the ownership invests in pitching, obviously. 3.15 ERA for the Yankees, bullpen 1.12 whip, converted 17 of 23. Blue Jays bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.29 whip, converted 11 of 20. Same opportunities. We have this total at 4.5 due to the under, and there's been no movement at Pinnacle. Under 4.5 at minus 108. That's where it stands. We move over to full game money lines and totals, and we have no movement. Oh, Sorry, I take that back. We do have some. We have a 5-cent move to the over and a 7-cent move to the Blue Jays. Very interesting. MMA Locker Room says minus 160 on Cole. That's the lowest you will get him. The lowest you will get Cole. That's fishy. Very, very fishy. Let's see where the money is. Why would Cole be so cheap? And Stripling, has he been that good of late that you would put him up against Cole? Or are you so fearful of the way the Jays are hitting righties? We have 4,123 tickets in. 38%. Look at this. Ooh-wee. 38% of the tickets on the Blue Jays, 60% of the cash. Some big boy bets have been made on the Blue Jays. 45% of the tickets, 48% of the cash on the Jays. Wow. A very fishy line. Mike Macklem says Cole's numbers low. Fishy's right. Stripling to bounce back. Bleds W on Yankees. First 5 over 4.5. Maybe that's the spot, right? Clearly the market's telling us that the Jays are going to get to Cole. Christopher Gargano goes back to spin rate. Cole's in a free fall. Fastball down 80 from his average last year and over 100 in previous start, both right after crackdown. Andre says Cole's been shaky lately with the substance stuff. I don't know. Patrick People says Jays can hit. Cole doesn't have a sticky. Seems like Blue Jays money liner, no move. Nigel Lee says, I'm a diehard Yankees fan. This is a trap game. Do not bet the Yankees and Cole. There's Johnny K in the house. Great to see you. Maxwell Smart says, give me Vladdy Jr. Vladdy 4 for 10 versus Cole. 371 versus right-handed pitching. 410 at home and 359 at night. Brandon says, Yanks are my team and I wouldn't trust them. Holy shit. All right. Let's go to baseball data here. Against Cole, 190, 532, and that's with Vladdy at 4 for 10. Now, Vladdy's 4 for 10 with 4 singles. Wow. TJ says weather, 64 Fahrenheit. It's cool in Buffalo. Partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour, sideways out to left. Mike Macklem, Toronto team total over 3.5. Is that the look? And that's what Leonard Porsche is doing. Says his Blue Jays team total over for me. Fading Garrett cold until proven wrong. Cap-a-lot pops. What's happening? Lance Rose has another over game. Let's just look at what that team total is. The Jays team totals have been just cashing and cashing and cashing and cashing. Here we go. Jays. Sorry. Team total for the Jays is at 3.5 at minus 115. Hoo-wee. Jays team total. Huh. Wow. I'm going to need more time to sit on this. This was not part of my plan. Jays team total over 3.5. And a possible first 5 over 4.5. I like the Jays team total a little better. Johnny K says over is a good look. Walla Walla Doe's questioning if the public's overvaluing the tax stuff. Wow. Okay, this was not on my radar, and it is now. It is now. Let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles 22-44, 11-23 on the road at the Cleveland Indians, 36-28, 18-13 at home. Patrick People says there's no question the bats have warmed up across the entire league since the substance crackdown started. I think it's a real concern for a handicapper moving forward. Piker says sticky stuff isn't for fastballs. The velocity will be fine on the fastball. You might hang a curve if it doesn't spin enough, though. There are no legitimate concerns with Cole, says Piker. Whew. Wow. So many moving parts in MLB. I would be a lot more hesitant if we weren't having such a good season. But when you see a cappers like Patrick Peoples and Gas Station Sushi not wanting to bet MLB, it's very, very concerning. And it's something that we need to keep an eye on. If our ROI starts dropping, we start completely missing spots. All right, Orioles 22-44, 11-23 on the road at the Indians, 36-28, 18-13 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, 70 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour in. Keegan Aiken. I've done well with Keegan Aiken. He's done very well for me on first 5 unders. He's done very well for me on Orioles first 5s, staying away from that terrible Orioles bullpen. 4.13 ERA, 1.33 whip, 24 innings, 20 Ks, 7 walks, 3 home runs allowed. In his last start, it was a 4-2 loss at the Rays. 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 walks, 2 Ks. Aaron Savali, 9-2, 3.17 ERA, 1 whip, 88 innings, 69 Ks, 19 walks, 13 home runs. His last start was excellent. 8 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 11 Ks, and 7-0 win at home versus the Mariners. Orioles are the worst in the league against righties, and they destroy lefties. A righty on the mound, 217, 647 OPS. Much love, Nate Dogg. Thank you for joining us, my man. Indians versus lefties, 215, 663 OPS. Orioles bullpen, as I said, atrocious, 4.55 ERA, 1.32 whip. Converted 50% of their save opportunities. Indians bullpen being strong all year, 3.20 ERA, 1.27 whip. Griffin, what's happening, my guy? Bled says, took the over 9 yesterday, got a push in Baltimore game, going back to the well, over for me. Steve Priest's overs were 9 and 6 yesterday. And Spenny had the 19 to come second at Ascot. I'll take the place money on that, but damn, no 2-8 and 2-9. Oh, no 28 and 29. Nice score, Spenny. That a 30-horse field. Nothing wrong with a little place money there. All right, let's take a look at all the important factors in gambling on this Indians-Orioles game. Here we go. Indians open up at minus 149. They're now at minus 155, so a 6-cent move towards them, and this total's gone from 8 to 7.5. Aiken has seen these Indians 16 at-bats. They have 2 hits, 2 singles, just 2 singles against them. But they've seen him now. And I took the first 5 under 4.5 the last time Aiken was up against this Indian squad. It was a bullpen day for the Indians, and we cashed it very easily. It was 1-0 after 5. Savali, they're 8 for 28, 286 average, but a 929 OPS, has 3 home runs in those 8 hits. And there's Maxie Smart saying Mullins 3 for 3, 2 homers for Savali. 452 in June versus Cleveland, 611. 3 home runs. Wow. That fence says easy play Indians. Jareen Wallace says, I don't cap games until about 30 minutes before start. Sometimes they change the picture. I don't know, Jareen. I don't know. It takes a long time to compile the right information. I don't know if 30 minutes gives you enough time to go over all that information. Steve Priest says, guy was 16 in a row, picked Orioles, Indians over 8. Think he might lose. Yeah, this total's moved to the under. Let's see where the cash is here in this Cleveland game. 5,283 tickets in, 92% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on the Indians, and 55% of the tickets and 59% of the cash on the over. And it's dropped a half run. Very, very, very interesting. DC says Cleveland, and that fan says easy play Indians. I don't know if it's worth. I guess you have to think against an Orioles team that's losing and losing and losing and losing, that it's a little fishy that it would only be a minus 155. And Savali is being faded by a lot of the sharps because his peripherals are not very good, and he's had a lot of luck with batting average of ball in play. Mike Macklem says a lot of value could be left. Yeah, night before his best ball for MLB. Yep. And then Mike Macklem says use pitcher matchup instead of action. Absolutely. No. I lost the last bet with Aiken. I had the Orioles on a big plus line first 5, but my ROI with Aiken's very high. That was my first loss on an Aiken start. So, no, I lost the last one with Aiken, first 5 against the Rays. And Dennis Garcia says, invest in pitching like a lot of it. Young, controllable offense under contract. No excuse for pitching to be this atrocious. It's unbelievable, Dennis. I guess they had a strict plan about how they were going to do stuff in the year to year, and the next year has to be the plan. It's just nuts. Okay, so I think this is fishy, and I like Aiken. I don't want to back him here. Maybe he's the right play here, but I'm just going to stay off of this Orioles-Indian spot. But you have to question why the Indians and the Yankees are both so low. Why wouldn't they be much bigger favorites? They should be. There's Colorado Bull in the house. Says, when you give us the info from Sports Insight on where the money is, you tell us about how many tickets have been placed. How many is enough to feel like a true assessment of the money? That's a good question. And, it just gets more and more true as the day goes on. I'd like to have at least 4,000 tickets in, but, when we have NBA, we're going to go to NBA next, and we have 17,000 tickets. That's the best. I think that anything with 2,000 tickets is probably not enough information, but you can also imagine that the people getting in first is sharp money. That's just a sort of I don't know if that's a blanket statement, but I imagine that the people who bet earliest are sharper than the people who bet latest. And that's a simple statement there. All right, no move for me in Baltimore, Cleveland. We move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. The Chicago Cubs at New York Mets. Cubbies 38-29, 14-19 on the road. Mets 34-25, 19-6 at home. And we have reached the taint play of the day is the under 6.5 in Cubbies Mets. Under 6.5. We also heard from the Loshak, the legend Peter Loshak, yesterday saying that he wants unders full game in all home games for the New York Mets. Again, the taint play of the day is the full game under 6.5. Citi Field, Queens, New York, 76 Fahrenheit, clear, 9 miles per hour, sideways in. It's DeGrom, who's having a year to remember. 0.56 ERA, 0.53 whip, 103 Ks and 8 walks in 64 innings. He's a spectacle to behold. We're very, very lucky that we get to watch him pitch often every 5th day. Going up against Robert Stock, the 31-year-old journeyman, made his MLB debut as a 28-year-old for the Padres. So it's not a highly thought of prospect. I take that back, though. I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I do have it still. No, I got Bailey Ober up. I believe he was a high draft pick, though. I want to say second round in like 2009. Maybe it was 5th round, but it was a pretty high draft pick in 2009. So he wasn't always a journeyman. TJ says, plug your nose and bet the Cubbies. DeGrom won't go over 70-75 pitches and will be pulled at any grimace. If Cubs can get through 4 and it's close, plus 259 is great value to me. Wyatt says DeGrom's going to throw record-breaking wild pitches without Maxwell Smart's sticky stuff. And Puzzler says Mets do have a great defensive team. Okay. Piker says, who the hell is Robert Stock is the issue on the under. And Razor Sharp destroyed the market move with the Cardinals money line on Gambler's First Glance. And Griffin says second round, 67th overall. Thank you. Noli Knows in the house says, I'm not trusting a AAA reliever. Let's go through Robert Stock's statistics. In 2021 in AAA, he's 0-3, but his numbers are okay except for the home runs. He's 4.12 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. He has 25 Ks, 19 and 2/3 to just 4 walks, but he has allowed 4 home runs. In 2020, he pitched for the Boston Red Sox. He went 0-1 with a 4.73 ERA and a 1.95 WHIP. He allowed 10 walks and 13 and a third, but he did not allow a homer. And Noli knows, the man who's making unders great again, says, I'm not trusting a AAA reliever. Griffin says, like the under. Cubs versus righties, just 228, 710 OPS. Mets versus righties, 238, 696 OPS. Cubs bullpen, 2.56 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Now number 1 in Major League Baseball. Have converted 21 of 27 save opportunities. My pleasure, Colorado Bull, my man. Colorado Bull, OG Lowbagger. Mets bullpen, 3.70 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Converted 18 of 28 save opportunities. So let's go again and look at this market move. Open under 6.5 at minus 107, so it's under 6.5 at minus 109. And very interestingly, there's been a 33-cent move to the Chicago Cubs, opening the Mets at minus 313, now minus 280. Steve Priest says Cubs first 5 team total under. And let's go over to baseball data. Stock has seen these guys. Kevin Pillar has hit a home run off him, 2 for 5. And then DeGrom, they're hitting 309 with a 794 OPS. One of the few teams that get to DeGrom. Rizzo's 10 for 23 against Jacob DeGrom. 435, 609 slugging. Wow. And then Chris Bryant, 6 for 13 with 2 homers. Ooh-wee. DX5 suspects first 5 minus half has been constant moneymaker. Could be a time to swallow the juice for first 5. There will be no move for me here. No move for me here. I'm going to sit back and cheer on the taint play of the day at under 6.5. But with DeGrom going short, the Cubbies hitting him, even though he's been spectacular this year, and then the question marks around Robert Stock. Now, when I say that about moves that our Matt Randall makes, he keeps cashing them and keeps catching them and keeps cashing them. So he's 6-1 since he's been back, and he's got spectacular numbers overall on the show. And the taint play of the day is under 6.5. One more shout out to our man Matt Randall and the taint play of the day. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 25-42, 10-26 on the road at the Houston Astros, 38-28, 21-13 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. The roof I expect to be closed. It's Lyles going up against Greinke. Lyles going up against Greinke. Okay, Bugger. Lyles is somebody I want to fade constantly, but I don't want to do it here with the roof closed, and I don't know if Greinke should be this big of a favorite. Opening up at minus 216, now at minus 212, so a 4-cent move towards the Rangers. This total opened up at 8.5. It has moved to 9. Maxwell Smart says Altuve 3 for 9 with a homer versus Lyles, 291 average at night. Last 7, 4 home runs versus Texas. And Patrick Peebles is on the Astros minus 1.5. So is Griffin. And Spenny Pennybaum says, Rutin, the Ward horse at Ascot, watched at Keeneland, looks solid. Ward hasn't won yet betting fave as of now. Horse is solid, but want to see what else is out there. Keep an eye on what the boys are doing over at Ascot. And thank you, Spenny, for sharing that with us. Greinke, 6. Oh, so let's go back to Lyles. So 2-4, 5.37 ERA, 1.52 WHIP, 57 Ks in 67 innings, 24 walks, 12 home runs. He has a 5.37 ERA, and I think that's better than I expected him to have, in all honesty. In his last start, it was good, and it was at home against the Giants. He went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 3 walks, 3 Ks, and 9-4 loss. Greinke coming off a rough start at the Red Sox. 3 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 2 Ks, and a 12-8 loss. You have to wonder if he's dealing with some arm fatigue. Griffin says bounce back spot for Greinke. Rangers hitting just 227, 678 OPS versus righties. Astros 266, 778 OPS versus righties. Both bullpens poor. Rangers bullpen 4.65 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Astros bullpen 4.25 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Let's go to the baseball data. Against Lyles, they're hitting 238 with a 674 OPS. He gets these guys out. It's impressive. Altuve 3 for 9 with a homer. Correa 4 for 9 with 4 singles. Brantley 3 for 12 with 3 singles. Yuli Gurriel 1 for 12. Martin Maldonado 0 for 14. Strange. Against Greinke 241, 633 OPS. But we see this market moving to the over. Christian James says Greinke was pathetic versus the Red Sox. That was one of the days, Christian, where the market, there was reverse line movement on the Red Sox. We saw some big cash bets made on the Red Sox, and I did not have the balls to take the Red Sox, but clearly following the money helped us in that start. It will help me just stay off of it. Greinke, Lyles, let's see where the money is here in Rangers Astros. So we have 86% of the tickets on the Astros and 98% of the cash, and yet the market's not moving in the Astros direction. And look at this, 48% of the tickets on the under and 97% of the cash, and it's moving to 9 from 8.5. Why Chapman says Greinke's spring rate is more consistent than gravity, baby, 100% legal beagle. Patrick Peeble says last time Greinke played Texas, he won 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, gave up 3 earned runs. Lyles went 6 innings, 7 hits, and 4 earned runs. Look, I can understand a thought that Greinke's going to bounce back and take the Astros, but it's strange the market's not moving in their direction. It's strange that Lyles has good numbers against somebody. Robert Allen said, I just felt a little tingle in my stomach when I bet Astros -1.5 earlier. Just feel so safe and comfortable. Steve Priest says Lyles has been better lately. No move for me in Rangers, Astros. All right, we have 2 games left on the card, and I've moved on one of them. 3 games left on the card, and I've moved on one of them. And the final game is both Jose Seje play of the day. That's won 5 straight, and the Sharpie Dirty K prop. So let's get through these games and move on to NBA. 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 20-48, 9-29 at home at the Giants. 42-25, 29 at home. Oracle Park, San Francisco, California. Those of you who live bet the San Francisco Giants yesterday, bravo. Unbelievable. 70 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour straightaway center. Merrill Kelly is somebody that I think we can get value on. I really do. Now, the Giants are raking against righties of late, 232, 730 OPS. Merrill Kelly's had a bad season. It's allowed 11 home runs in 75 in the third, 68 Ks, 21 walks, 5.14 ERA, 1.33 whip. His last start, he went up against the Angels. He went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. And look, this cost me the winning night on Friday. I was 4-4 going into my first 5, and it was the Diamondbacks, Angels, and I don't need to go back to this, but it was 3-0. I had the under 4.5. There was 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Ohtani on the mound. Runners on first and second. Ohtani balks the runners to second and third, and then he balks a run in, and then he strikes out the guy with a wild pitch. The runner scores. Guy safe at first, and I lose my first 5 under 4.5 with 5 runs scored, and it almost ruined a weekend getaway. I was out with my family. Disclafani, 6-2, 3.09 ERA, 1.02 whip, 75 and 2/3, 66 Ks, 21 walks, 8 home runs. He went complete in his last start. 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks in a 1-0 win at the Nationals. Diamondbacks versus righties, 231, 670 OPS. And as I said, Giants been raking against righties. Diamondbacks bullpen so bad, 4.77 ERA, 1.46 whip. Converted to 6 of 19 save opportunities. Giants bullpen's been electric, excellent of late. 3.36 ERA, 1.13 whip, 26 of 40 save opportunities. Let's go to the baseball data here, see what they say. Against Merrill Kelly, 276, 719 OPS. He's been good against them. Disclafani, they're hitting 162 with a 506 OPS. 11 for 68 with 4 doubles and 2 homers. Wow. Noli Nose says, sorry, but I've been there before. Really, Noli, because that's the first time that sequence has ever happened to me on a losing bet in my lifetime. My entire lifetime. Balk, strikeout on a wild pitch, lose the bet. That's the first time. You've made many more bets on unders than I have in my life, so I can imagine that. Yeah, you've seen that. It was the first time that sequence ever got. It almost. Look, I was on a family trip. We were at a cottage, and I needed to go for a walk alone. Okay, so we've seen the Giants go from minus 161 to minus 165, 4-cent move towards them. There's been a 6-cent move to make the total of Pick'em at 8. And TJ's on Giants minus 1 at minus 111. See where the cash is in this spot. We have 87% of the tickets on the Giants and 80% of the cash. 38% of the tickets on the under and 90% of the cash on the under. I was interested in the first 5 under. I was interested, and I believe that when I was going to or thinking about betting it this morning, that it went to 4.5 at Pinnacle. And I was like, why would it go to 4.5? Why would it go? And turns out I could hear you screaming the forest from here. Why would it go to 4.5? Question marks abound. I do not want to back this Diamondbacks. You think about them in the clubhouse before games. They just know they're going to go out and lose. So no move for me. Now, I did move on the Minnesota Twins, first 5 minus a half, backing Bailey Ober, which may be a dangerous thing to do, but I back the Twins versus lefties. Ober 0-0. He's 13 innings, 15 Ks, 2 walks. He has allowed 3 home runs. In 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 7 Ks, and a 6-4 loss at home to the Astros. Justice Sheffield's a pitcher I like, and he's been bad. Steve Priest says backing the youngster as well in Bailey Ober. Justice Sheffield, 5-5, 4.91 ERA, 1.59 whip. Just 45 Ks and 58 2/3 and 24 walks. He's allowed 9 home runs, 58 2/3. In his last start, he looked bad. An 8-3 loss at the Tigers. 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. 3 of them were earned. 2 homers, though, and a walk, 3 Ks. Twins, 258, 772 OPS, and the Mariners are just hitting 212, 666 OPS versus righties. The Twins' bullpen is a garbage fire that I want nothing to do with, so I just stick with the first 5. I got first 5 minus a half at minus 115. Let's just see if I wanted to bet that right now. I would like to see if the market moved. I would hope to see that the market moved in my direction. And if I wanted that right now, first 5 minus a half. What the hell is it? It's at minus 110. Did not move in my direction. All right. TJ said cash Seattle 2 straight up plus money laying off tonight. I'm disappointed to see that I did not beat that market move. Let's quickly go to the Mariners have not seen Ober, and only Andrelton Simmons has seen Sheffield. He's 1 for 2 with a single. And then cash wise, we have 42% of the tickets, but just 18% of the cash on the Seattle Mariners. And then 59% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the under. Interesting. Steve Priest says Ober had a 100 to 9K to walk ratio in his last minor league season in 2019. He has 15 strikeouts, 2 walks through 3 MLB outings. Robert Allen is on the under, and Lance Rose has another over game. Okay, so I did move on the Twinkies, first 5 minus a half. Now let's get to the last game on the card where we find both the Jose Say Hey play of the day and the Sharpie Dirty K prop that's sitting at 31-17 on the show. Sharpie is on the Clayton Kershaw over 7.5 Ks. At minus 110. I repeat, over 7.5 Ks at minus 110 is the Sharpie Dirty K prop of the day. Over 7.5 Ks at minus 110. And now we get the Say Hey Jose's play of the day. Jose is running hot. There's Boston Nick in the house. We have Jose running hot. He's now hit 5 straight. He swept last week. We do 4 shows a week. He swept the board. Then he starts Tuesday with another casher that cashed in the 2nd inning. We have Zach Wheeler going up against Clayton Kershaw. I also have a bet on this game. Philadelphia Phillies at LA Dodgers. Please welcome to the show the hottest man on the show, Jose in the house. What up, Jose? How are you?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. I think I've shocked everyone in this chat, and it feels good, Jimmy. It feels good to finally succeed and live up to your name.
You're cashing, and there was a lot of questions early. There was doubters. And you are on your way to proving them all wrong and also getting a lot of people tailing your action and making your father very, very proud. You're doing it all, Jose, and I want you to keep doing it. Streaks are very exciting, and what we do know about when we're on streaks is we see things clear, we trust ourselves and we are sharper, the more wins you start stringing together, the more I expect the more the ROI will increase. And when you're losing, you risk, you take chances that you don't need to take, and you don't trust your gut. So I expect this to continue. Everybody wants to know, Jose, what's your move here? Phillies, Dodgers.
Well, we talked about this at the beginning of the month, Jimmy. I told you about the foreign substances, and everyone in the chat and everyone around baseball has been on fire about it. It's been the talk of baseball, who's using it, who's not, how we're doing it, blah, 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 blah. And yesterday we had an interesting development. Tyler Glasnow, partial tear of his UCL, comes out and says, probably partially because of MLB baseball, them taking off some sticky substances. And I mean, his explanation made a lot of sense to me. And I do this research. I look at the pitcher's spin rates, and I always try to look at who's down, why could they be down, and all this stuff. And Clayton Kershaw is one of those guys. Clayton Kershaw's spin rates is down. Curveball spin rates down. Fastball spin rates down. Slider, interestingly, has been even last start, and he dominated against those Texas Rangers, which was good to see for him because he's been struggling against good lineups. Struggled against the Braves. Struggled mightily throughout the year with the long ball, and I think we could have that same issue today, Jimmy. Zach Wheeler on the other side. I mean, everyone knows Zach Wheeler, dominant. We all see what he does. His strikeout prop, interestingly enough today, kind of low, 7.5. I was like, wow, that's pretty weird. Why could that be? Dodgers' lowest strikeout team in the league. I think both these pitchers get touched up a little bit today, Jimmy. I'm on the first 5 over 3.5. Now, normally you'd see both these pitchers and think, oh, wow, thank you. I'm glad. But normally you see these pitchers come out here, they do their stuff. But I've noticed that the overs are starting to hit, Jimmy. I don't know if you've had this information out of your hands or, wherever you put it. But I'd love to see the trend of over and unders from June 3rd exactly, because that's when MLB started suspending minor league players for foreign substances and starting to scare pitchers. So I would love to see over-unders from June 3rd, how they're trending. But we can talk about that another day, perhaps.
I find it a fascinating look. I personally am on the Philadelphia Phillies first 5 at plus 120. And I almost didn't bet it, and I almost waited because I don't expect Harper to be in the lineup. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I felt like it was the right move, and I didn't hold back. I like your call about Clayton Kershaw having difficulty against tough lineups. I don't know if this counts as one, but they do hit 257, 27 OPS versus lefties. And he's coming off. He had 2 terrible starts and then had that great start at home over the Rangers. I like your look here. And you're right. That is very interesting that Wheeler's K-prop is at 7.5. He's coming off a 12 strikeout performance in the 4-3 extra inning win at home versus the Braves. And was that one of your plays? I remember you've cashed on a Wheeler strikeout prop in the past.
I think I have before, yeah. I mean, he's been absolutely dominant. I mean, the play I've been thinking about all morning, honestly, was the Garrett Cole first 5. I think it was against the Twins. I bet the first 5 team total over it because Garrett Cole was pitching in his spin rate stuff, But I think it's been interesting. By the way, Jimmy, it's probably better that Bryce Harper isn't in the lineup today because Bryce Harper, 34 plate appearances, 16 strikeouts, 6 hits, 1 home run. Maybe Bryce Harper needs a day off today.
Yeah, and he just doesn't hit lefties at all. Wheeler, 250, 669 OPS versus this tough Dodgers lineup. Kershaw, 220, 614 OPS versus them as well. We move over to the cash on this game. This is going to be a great way to end of the night. I love it. And I'll be live on Razor Sharp's horse racing show while this game's going on. 80% of the tickets on the Dodgers, 67% of the cash on the Dodgers, and 65% of the tickets on the over, 62% of the cash on the over. So let's see what's going on here. First 5, we have it opening at 4, now at 3.5, and it's juiced to the under. So you're going to get a nice price on this over. Going up against this market move, but sticking with where the tickets are, I find that fascinating. And then let's move over to full game. Full game here we have the total going from 7.5 to 7, and Kershaw going from minus 147 to minus 141. So clear reverse line movement on both the total and the against the favorite. Very, 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 very interesting. So we have 3 bets on this game. And the last time we had this type of situation, we cashed them all. Let's see if we do it again. So we have the Dirty K prop of the day on Kershaw over 7.5 strikeouts. We have Jose on the over 3.5. And what was the juice associated with that?
Since I'm a big boy now, Jimmy, I've upgraded. I looked at Pinnacle. I even had to do my research. I was like, what the hell is a first half? And then I figured that out today. That was fun. I got 103, and I'm looking now, and I've got it at even money. So it's even interesting. And by the way, Jimmy, I'd like to respond to a Puzzler talking about suspensions, and then they're not really cracking down. 10 games for a team. Let's say if the Tampa Bay Rays lost Nick Anderson, even though he's not playing this year, a Nick Anderson for 10 games, they can't fill that roster spot. That's 10 games without one of your better relievers or reliever in general, and your team doesn't have bodies anymore. Like we see guys falling off the time. Bullpens already suck. So 10 game suspension for a reliever in particular is brutal. Starters, that's one thing. But you can't fill that roster spot anymore. It's one of the brutal things with that suspension. So you're basically a man down for 10 days on your rotation and your starting star, your reliever. So it's just brutal, that 10-day suspension, if they give it to people. We'll see if it actually happens.
Jose, excellent work. I am proud of you. I want you to keep cashing. You're a huge addition to the show in many, many ways. The way you're adding to the graphics and you're producing is exceptional, and I'm very, very thankful to work with you. And now your addition to the live show with your breakdowns has been excellent. So all around great work. You're making me proud. Keep it up. Let's go for 6 straight, my man. A dirty half dozen for you, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to get to the point to where people include my name with your guys' name, because I love the Dirty K prop, the TAINT play of the day, and then there's just everything else. So I'm just trying to get to that level. I'm just trying to get to that echelon. I'm trying, Jimmy. I'm trying.
Oh, great stuff, my man. Great stuff. There he is, the Say Hey play of the day. All right, let's review action and move on to NBA, and then we're going to get Mr. Gokster up here, and we want some time here with Mr. Gokster. By the way, the next look for Dennis Garcia is the 16 to win place at Ascot. The 16 to win place. And there's DJ Big Boss. We open the show with a big happy birthday to our man DJ Big Boss, whom we love dearly. There he is on his birthday. Please give him the love. He's such a huge part of everything we do here, and I love him. Okay, I made 5 bets before the show started. Marlins first 5 at minus 130. Probably should have waited for that lineup to come out. Tigers first 5 at plus 120. Detroit, Kansas City first 5 under 5 at minus 125. Twins first 5 minus a half at minus 110. Oh, I got minus 110. For some reason, I thought I got minus 115, so that market didn't move against me. And then I'm on the Phillies first 5 at plus 120. Raymond Reichart says, Wham coming on for NBA? No, we have Wham tomorrow. His schedule has changed, but we're going to have Wham more often because he's got a month off of work. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of Wham Bam. So those are the 5 plays that I made before the show started. And the bet that I'm going to add, if it gets to 9.5, is the under in Pittsburgh, Washington. If it gets to 9.5, I'll be watching that very closely. I know that Pinnacle got there. And sorry, I'm also adding the Braves first 5 minus a half. So there's 2 spots that I'm adding. I find the Jays team total over 3.5 and that first 5 over 4.5 very interesting in Yankees Blue Jays, but I want more time to study it. The TAINT play of the day is the under 6.5 in Chicago, New York Mets. And then Jose's Say Hey play of the day, he's hit 5 straight, is the first 5 over 3.5 at plus 100. And the Dirty K prop of the day from our David Sharpie is the over 7.5 strikeouts at minus 110. All right. Let's go right now to NBA. And there was no hesitation for me. I fired away. Steve Priest says money coming back in on the Cardinals. Yeah, I saw that. The terrible lineup that the Marlins have dropped, but we'll see how it banks out. I should have got on that first 5 under or even the full game under. All right, NBA. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The East semifinals, Game 5. We're tied at 2. Atlanta Hawks 41-31, 16-20 on the road. At the 76ers 49-23, 29-7 at home. We're at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was very interested over the last 48 hours to see what Embiid would say about how bad he played, and I'm pretty comfortable with everything that he said. I'm pretty comfortable. He was emoting. Prince of the City calls him Baby Huey. He was acting like a little bitch in the second half. He was sulking. When he would miss shots, he was wearing it. And it scared me. It made me very uncomfortable because the only future bet I have in NBA this year is the Sixers to win the East at plus 550. It made me very uncomfortable. He finished with 17 points and 21 boards. The Sixers couldn't hold an 18-point lead. And if you look on the court in the fourth quarter of Hawks Sixers, which team has the closers? The Atlanta Hawks. They have the closers. And it makes me uncomfortable. Bloods W says, take a look at the Trae Young assist prop. We will go over that. And as DC says, Jose's play of the day, it doesn't ring. Jose, come up with a tag. Look, I tried to pitch Jose's expose, and that failed miserably. Okay. So, and Wales has made it 1-0, says the guys. Turnsy's on the over first half, 113.5. I almost took the Sixers first quarter, but I was surprised that it was at minus 2.5. I took the Sixers first half. I think they're going to come out rolling. As I said, I came so close to betting that first quarter at minus 2.5. I'm concerned about the Sixers in the fourth quarter. You have Embiid, who looks like he wears down. He's dealing with the lateral meniscus tear in his right knee, a small one. But he's looking tired as the game goes on. You have Ben Simmons afraid to shoot. He took one shot in the second half. He was not on the floor in the final possession. He can't hit free throws. And Trae Young and Bogdan Bogdanovic are confident. And they just won a game where they shot a combined 17 of 50 from the floor. So, Danny A, Jose Sehe play of the day is the first 5 over 3.5 in the Dodgers game. Polo that says, think you have to take the points and maybe even the Hawks money line. I like the Sixers first half. I think the Sixers will be in control first half. And as I said, I came very close to taking the Sixers first quarter. Mike Macklem says, prop bet Sixers first half Atlanta full game is a very interesting way of playing it. I think the Sixers take care of business at home. I think the Sixers are a better basketball team than the Hawks. But when push comes to shove, who has the swagger to hit that last shot? Trae Young. Trae Young's a guy who does. It's just so clear. The closers are on Atlanta. Embiid starts looking tired. And Ben Simmons is off the floor. And I'm not sitting here ridiculously confident. If I could have got a -2 on the first quarter, I'd be on the Sixers -2 first quarter. But I'm quite confident on the Sixers first half -3.5. DC says, I concur. Sixers first half. Okay, Jose's for cash today. It does have a ring to it, but we're going to pass on that one, TJ. So let's take a look at the market move here in this game and then move on to the next one. And then we will have the NHL breakdown with our Mr. Gokster. So Philadelphia opens up at -6. They're now -7. That first half opened up at -3.5. It's now -4. That makes me feel good. The first quarter opened up at -2. I should have hammered. I wish I could have got it. I like it at -2 quite a bit, but I don't have my ROI is bad on favorites in first quarters anyways, and I'm not going to move there. From a total perspective, in the full game, we have it opening up at 223.5. It's now at 224. For those of you keeping an eye on pace, the Hawks regular season pace, playoffs pace, similar. Their pace is 97.17 possessions a game, and they're playing to the Sixers pace. Sixers playoff pace is 101.44 possessions a game, and the series is sitting at 100 possessions a game. So, with all that being said, 76ers game, bro. Props to you, buddy. Oh, thank you. Well, we'll see. But I really had no fear betting this. I really came in firing and was quite confident. Very quick look at the player props here, and then we'll move on to the last game. We got to get Gokster on here as soon as possible. So let's just move here. Player props here. We have points wise. Bogdanovich at 18.5, juice to the under. Trae Young at 27.5. Remember, he started the series at 25.5. Then we have Joel Embiid at 30.5, juice to the under. And then when we get to the assist spot for Trae Young at 10.5, heavily juiced to the under. So Steve Priest says only 203 last Hawker 6 game. Now they're hanging at 224, lean under. Look, I'm gonna sit here and be very, very confident on my bet here, Sixers first half. And let's move on to the last game here, the West semifinals, Game 5 series tied 2-2. Kawhi Leonard could be done for the series. He's out for Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals, and it sucks. I feel bad for cappers that are on the Clippers to win the championship this year because they must have been feeling very good about themselves, and it sucks that this happened here for them. The pace the Clippers have been playing in the playoffs very slow at 93.59, and they've willed the Jazz into that pace for the series at 94.88. The Jazz have been playing at 97.72 possessions a game during the playoffs. There's Pink Eye Genie in the house. Great to see you, Pink Eye Genie. The real DJX is on the over full game. Carlos Luders is on the under full game. Leonard and Paul George each scored at least 30 points in both Game 3 and Game 4. They have completely taken control of the series. And Mike Conley listed it as questionable. If this was a regular season game, I would expect the Clippers to step up. But this is totally different because the Clippers just punched the Jazz in the mouth. And we often see that with an injury, it's that second game that a team gets hurt the most. In that first game, the role players step up in a big way. But after smacking the Jazz in the mouth, I just don't see that happening here. And I moved on the Jazz -3.5 and -7. This total has gone from an opener of 223 down to 221 or 220.5. And the spread is still sitting at -7, but there are 7.5s that have just come on the board from Bodog and Heritage. The first half is sitting at 3.5. That's where I got it. North Ender says Jazz smash, and I feel that way as well. And Danny Ace is saying, if anyone can use Will Hill Sportsbook, take advantage of their first half spread bet on the Clippers versus Jazz. So quickly, let's just take a look at where the cash is on both these games. For the Hawks Sixers, we have 55% of the tickets on the Sixers and 72% of the tickets of the cash on the Sixers on the spread. Then you have 35% of the tickets on the under and 79% of the cash on the under. When we get to the Clippers game, we have 77% of the tickets and 78% of the cash on the Jazz. And from a total perspective, we have 47% of the tickets on the under and 83% of the cash on the under. And that makes sense. The only thing for me is that the outside shooting, I just feel like the Clippers will fire away from the perimeter with Kawhi out. Just fire away. Eric Rosas says, I love those alt totals. Great value if you expect something. You're right, Eric Rosas. You're right. Absolutely right. Danny A says, no Kawhi, Jazz, no questions asked. So Steve Priest says the totals dropped due to the Kawhi being out. You're probably right there. That makes a ton of sense. So there you have it. That is my spot. I doubled up on the Jazz first half full game, and I'm on the Sixers first half, and I've made no moves on the totals because I think the Clippers will play at a faster pace without Kawhi, and I think they'll be taking a ton of outside shots from the perimeter. Preston says Clippers are saying Kawhi likely has a torn ACL. That's just awful news. Awful news. And then which means that I don't know why I wouldn't be interested in the first half over. The thing is, though, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, the Clippers role players are going to hit from the outside in the perimeter. But I do think they'll play at a faster pace without Kawhi. And Jerry Beatty says Leonard was playing good defense too. Yes, I do think they're going to be playing at a faster pace. I do think there'll be more offense without Kawhi in the lineup. So why am I not at least on the first half over? I may be adding a first half over in this Clippers Jazz spot. Okay, and Josh CT says I'm on the Hawks trifecta. First quarter, first half full game. I think tonight Gallinari shows up and has one of those red hot games where everyone says, damn, Nick should have never gotten rid of him. Interesting. Okay, there you have it. Let's get to NHL. We have a huge game up. The Stanley Cup Semis Game 2. Vegas leading the series 1-0. Montreal Canadiens at Las Vegas Golden Knights. And let's bring in our man, our NHL expert, the pride of Belleville, Ontario, Mr. Gokster in the house. Mr. Gokster, what up? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate the kind words, Jim. But I'm going to look like an expert the last couple days there. And
your ROI is very high, and you made a lot of money through these playoffs. So the last couple of games are the game ones of the Stanley Cup semifinals, and you're figuring out a lot of different things, and it's easier to make money later in the series than it is earlier in the series. So let's have a ton of confidence moving in.
I appreciate it.
I mean it. Let's have a ton of confidence moving into the T-Mobile Arena.
Let's get it, guys.
Here. And Ducharme has said that Jeff Petrie, who I said he would not be available in game one, he says did not He practiced with the team, but it was too early to talk about whether he'd be in the lineup. And with Petrie out and the way this Vegas Knights defense is playing, they're playing so well. They're so healthy. You have to say that Vegas is an extremely dangerous hockey team.
Yeah, I'll give you an update quickly there. Petrie looking like he's going to be in. From all signs, he's been practicing the last 2 days, I believe now. And even Evans, guys, remember that hit he had from Scheifele? He's looking like he could possibly be in as well. So there could be some key players coming back. I'll let you keep going, though, Jim. But, yeah, that's a little update on the injuries.
Very important, very important. The over 5 at minus 132 is now at minus 135 at Pinnacle, so a 3-cent move towards the over. And then from a money line perspective, Vegas opening up at minus 252. They're now minus 262. So a 10-cent move towards them. Take it away, Gokster. Stanley Cup semis, game 2. How you getting paid?
Let's get it, guys. So I'm going with the Canadiens here, guys. First period, and I'm going first period over 0.5, Jim. First period is where these Montreal Canadiens looked really good in that first game. They actually expected goals were 1.65 to 0.28 for Montreal, and the high danger chances were 7-1, Jim, for Montreal. They were all over them. They just couldn't get one by, and unfortunately, Vegas did get that one goal in the first. But I think this is going to be a better opportunity. You guys saw how much Montreal been leading in these playoffs, too. They had a crazy streak of not trailing in the playoffs, and I would expect, especially if you're getting these additions back, looking like Byron and Lehkonen could be out. Lehkonen out on the first line, replaced with Evans alongside Deneau and Gallagher. And then possibly Byron, not confirmed yet, guys, but that's what it's looking like. Byron's going to be out, and you could see they're even talking about Tatar, Jim. Thomas Tatar, wanted to bring back Tatar, just a little more of a veteran spot there. But Petrie's going to be slipped in on the second line there with Edmondson, and then you're looking at Romanov with either Gustafsson or Kulak. Doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But overall, guys, I look for Montreal, Jim. They're going to come out strong, in my opinion, here. If you look at the high danger chances, too, Vegas only had 8 medium, 3 high. It was the second period, guys, where Vegas destroyed them. It was completely lopsided from first and second. Montreal all over them in the first. Second period, you had Vegas 8-0 to the high danger chances. So they were just all over them, pushing the puck, not messing around. Expected goals are 1.38 to 0.09. So just Montreal, Jim, they can't come down again. They know they can't get down. Vegas, they scored 4 goals, but like I said, guys, it wasn't the first period. They didn't look as strong in the first, and I expect it to be a similar spot here. I'm going Montreal to jump all over them early here. First period, Montreal plus 190. Montreal first period over 0.5 at plus 122, fellas. I'm liking that one. I got a third play, but I'll throw it in at the end of the last couple minutes here.
Extremely interesting breakdown. Extremely interesting.
Montreal.
Breakdown. And yeah, it was a healthy scratch for Tatar.
Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of things saying they want to bring him back, Jim. Slipping out Byron and putting him in on the third line.
I don't dislike that. The message is being sent. So I think that does make sense. Now, listen to Dennis Garcia's question, and I completely agree with him here. We are talking about a Habs team that I came very close to betting to win the division before the year started, and I didn't, and then I beat myself up after the first 5 or 6 games. But we're talking about a team that lost 8 more games than they won during the regular season. So they've gotten hot at the right time. But
Exactly.
he says, what does Montreal do better than Vegas? It's not goaltending, defense, offense, physicality, special teams, or coaching. And
that's very. If you look at their 4 lines, I do like what I'm seeing from Vegas. But if you got a team down 1-0, you go down 1-0 when you're already in the first period, having to come back against a Vegas team that can just fire it at will. In my opinion here, Dennis, they just got to come out strong, Montreal, and I expect them to do that. They've done it ever since that Game 4. After Game 4 against Toronto, they've looked really good. They've been scoring first a lot. I don't have the number on me, but I can tell you Montreal's came out scoring first a lot more than they haven't since that Game 4 against Toronto. So I don't have enough balls to take Montreal guys full game as much as they need to win this, but I can't believe it based on that last game and what they did in the second and third period. Vegas just did what they wanted to do against Montreal. And Not to mention, guys, the Vegas defense, they had, what do we got here? Goal, and 7 shots on net from Pietrangelo. So their defense for Vegas has been putting in, it wasn't even the offense for Vegas, which is scary, that did much. It was the defense. So that's why I'm not going to take Montreal full game, guys, but expect Montreal to come out strong here early. They can't come down. These changes just tell me that the coach there, Ducharme, he really wants to, it's all hands on deck. They can't put that same first team they did in game 1. They got to have a better team going forward, and I think Montreal's going to come out early here, guys.
Very interesting breakdown, and I have to say it makes sense. What is the juice associated with your action?
So I got a habit for taking plus lines. Plus 190 for the Montreal first period. If I think they're going to score in the first period at plus 122, that's what I got at Pinnacle. I think you might as well take the first period as well, plus 190.
Agreed.
At worst, get a push, right? And the last play I'm going to add, guys, not as confident on this one, but I have to throw it on. They're going to throw a half unit on it. It's going to be both teams to score in the third period. I do expect Vegas to come out stronger as the game goes on, just kind of like what we saw in the first. And Montreal knows it's all hands on deck. Not to mention, guys, I didn't even say the expected goals. Montreal had 4.4 expected goals. So that just tells you Fleury just played absolutely maniac between the pipes there. Like 4.4, Jim, and only score 1 goal. If Montreal just keeps doing what they're doing, guys, this could be even an over game. I was looking at that over at 5. I think it was minus 130, 135. Expect a much better performance from Montreal. Also, Romanov, he should help this defense core too, a little more offensively, in my opinion.
I like the breakdown very much. Just an idea. There's 6,456 tickets counted at Sports Insights, and they have 59% of the tickets on Vegas and 89% of the cash on Vegas. On the total, they have 59% of the tickets on the under and 98% of the cash on the under. This is like old days before I went down to Costa Rica, whatever, where you could wrap a whole entire trip to Vegas around a bet to pay for the whole trip. These first 2 games in Vegas against the Habs, and I thought the Jets were going to beat the Habs, and obviously things changed very quickly with Scheifele getting knocked out for the series or whatever. But so I haven't been extremely high on the Habs, and I've taken a lot of heat in social media because of that, and I was wrong. But I would have easily got the family down to Vegas here for these first 2 games and put heavy bets on the money line for this Vegas Golden Knights team. I just don't see how the Habs can compete.
Yeah. Even though you got Carey Price between the pipes, guys, it's tough to compete with what this Vegas team has. They just beat Colorado, guys. Talk about a team that has firepower. So give me Montreal early, though. Let's go Montreal.
Yeah, I do think this will be a closer game than game 1, no doubt about it. And I'm not sitting here with Vegas -1 on my card, although let's just see what that is right now.
Yeah, Gas is right. Toffoli needs to wake up along with Caulfield. That's some goal scorers. That line of Toffoli, Suzuki, Caulfield could be reunited if they get it has been reunited. But especially if you're getting Evans back, guys, so those additions of Evans and Petrie is going to be huge for this Montreal team, for the morale and the whole core. Look for this to be a lot closer game. I lean towards the over 2, but that's not going to be an official play. I'll tweet everything out, guys. Ego47_ on Twitter like usual.
I love it. I absolutely love it. There he is, Mr. Gokster. By the way, Gokster, I like the over 5 in tomorrow night's game in Long Island. I think it's just the barn's going to be rocking and there's going to be goals. Now, we know that Peugeot's hurt, but I think I'll have moved on the over 5 in that game before.
Sign me up too. You know what, Jimmy? I was actually going to say, even like the team total over on both of those teams as well. If you can get 2.5, if it's minus 125 or so, I like the team total overs too. I'm
a little nervous about Peugeot being hurt for the Islanders, but we don't have time to talk about that right now. We have a big show tomorrow. There he is, Mr. Gokster. Stick with me, Gokster. Don't leave right now. By the way, you guys, big show going on right now. Head over to see Babano and CMAC MLB show right now. Don't forget about our NBA Pub Hub show at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then Razor Sharp Picks horse racing show tonight. I'll be on for the last 4 races at Emerald Downs. Great stuff, Mr. Gokster. Can you let the guys know where to find you on Twitter and then let you ass out of here?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone here at Pub Sports for having me on, Jamie and company, and all you guys for tuning in every day. It wouldn't be a show without you guys. So just want to thank you guys. And follow me on Twitter, guys, Ego47_. I'll tweet out my action as always on hockey. I got KBO and stuff like that. PGA, big US Opens coming up in the PGA. So check me out there, fellas.
I love it. Mr. Gokster, can you give us a giant leche? Put a bow on this bad boy.
All right, guys, get that cash and leche, elos, bookmakers. Let's go.
Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on.
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.